Welcome to Roll Credits, where movie and TV lovers get the trivia they didn't know they needed. This podcast was created with the help of AI tools. While we do our best to keep things accurate and fun, the occasional mix-up or outdated tidbit might sneak in like a retired spy on one last mission. Today we're back with FUBAR Season 2, where family dysfunction meets global espionage, and Arnold Schwarzenegger brings the dad jokes and explosions in equal measure. And welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today, well, it's to plunge right into all the intel we've gathered on FUBAR Season 2.
Yeah, we're going to extract those surprising facts, the juicy behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. Basically getting you fully briefed on this whole action-packed, kind of crazy family affair. So, buckle up.
It is going to get chaotic.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting show, isn't it, how it leans into its premise?
Totally.
For anyone needing a quick catch-up, Season 1 ended, remember, with Luke and Emma Brunner, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Monica Barbaro. Their CIA identities were just completely blown.
Huge cliffhanger.
Yeah, forced them, their family, their loved ones, basically everyone into hiding. Yeah. Safe house situation. Quite the intense family reunion to kick things off.
And Season 2 just dives straight back into that chaos, doesn't it? But with a smart twist. It's not just about them being exposed anymore. There's this new global threat that pops up. And here's the really interesting part. It's all tangled up with Luke's past love life.
Right, his history with the new villain, Greta Nelso.
Yeah.
That really complicates things.
Oh, completely. Professionally, personally, everything's kind of thrown up in the air. Yeah. That original gimmick, the father-daughter secret agent thing, that's not really the main source of conflict now.
No, it's shifted. Now it's this romantic history-turned spy problem.
Yeah.
Taking a wider view, the show really, I think, consciously plays to its strengths this season. You got the chaotic spy stuff, the super dysfunctional family dynamics, and of course, Arnold just being Arnold.
Larger than life, definitely.
It gives you humor. It gives you heart. Plenty of high-energy thrills. Some critics called it a popcorn series. Maybe felt a bit dated, like something from a couple decades ago.
I saw some of that commentary.
But most people seem to agree it delivers on the fun, the nostalgia, and, yeah, some pretty weird family bonding moments.
It's really something. Seeing that split reaction, you had reviewers saying it was a step down from Season 1. They felt it was more subdued, maybe too dialogue-heavy. I saw the phrase incessant talking thrown around.
Ouch. Yeah, and some mentioned a dip in production value, maybe some campy special effects creeping in.
But then on the flip side, you have the fans who just loved it, like absolutely embraced the whole thing.
Totally. For them, it was that perfect mix of foolishness, something to watch when you just want to shut off ye olde brain, as one fan put it.
Yeah.
They appreciated the self-aware kind of intentional silliness. Just a light summer watch.
It really highlights that tension, doesn't it? Does a show like this need to be innovative, or is delivering that nostalgic fun enough? For the fans, it seems like the fun wins out.
I think that's spot on.
Yeah.
The show knows its audience. Okay, so let's talk new faces. The biggest one, no question, is Carrie-Anne Moss as Greta Nelso.
Yes.
She's playing this really enigmatic East German spy, and her history just slams right into Luke's. Creates a fantastic dynamic.
She was such a welcome addition. How did you feel she stacked up against Schwarzenegger? Because he's got such a massive screen presence.
That's what's impressive. She matches him step for step, plays off him really well. She can be this hardcore villain 1 minute,
right,
and then shift into these lighter, almost playful moments the next. You can genuinely see she's enjoying it, and that brings both gravitas and intrigue, as some reviews noted.
Yeah, you could feel that.
Though, got to mention, some fans did pick up on her accent, maybe slipping a little here and there. Minor critique, but it was mentioned.
Always tough accents. And hey, speaking of returning folks, Tom Arnold is back as Norm.
The delightfully sadistic interrogator.
Yes. I still can't believe they didn't give the two Arnolds a scene together in Season 1. Like, how do you miss that?
It was baffling. Great to see him back, though.
Definitely.
It really makes you think, how does the show keep going when its main hook, the secret identity's already out there?
Good question.
And the answer, for FUBAR, I think, lies squarely with that strong returning cast. Arnold Schwarzenegger, as Luke. He's still this commanding lead, right? But he's really embracing this lead career role, the comedy timing, the self-awareness. It's all there.
He seems to be having a blast.
He actually said Season 2 was even more fun to film than the first. And you feel that watching him.
And Monica Barbaro as Emma, still fantastic. She just nails that mix of being totally exasperated but also empathetic and then flipping into tactical mode.
It's a tricky balance. She's great.
And you can't forget Fortune Feimster as Rue and Milan Carter as Barry. They bring that reliable comedy relief those one-liners fans loved. Still landing.
Absolutely. And that just points to the overall ensemble chemistry.
Yeah.
It's infectious, especially that core father-daughter thing between Luke and Emma.
Yeah, that's the anchor.
Their playful quick quips, even when they're talking complex spy stuff, it just makes the dialogue work. That chemistry, I really think, is what holds it all together.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. Let's dive into some of those fun facts, the Easter eggs, maybe some surprising behind-the-scenes bits.
Oh, good stuff.
One of the really cool things about FUBAR is how it feels like this big homage to Arnold's whole career, right?
Definitely.
There are so many nods. Like in the season 2 trailer, he drops the line, "I told you, I'm back." Clear Terminator reference. You can't miss it.
And fans totally ate that up. Those punny jokes and references to Arnold's past movies,
Yeah.
they just add that extra layer for people who followed his career.
So much fun.
And speaking of Terminator, here's a fun piece of trivia. Carrie-Anne Moss was actually considered for the TX role, the villain, in Terminator 3.
No way. Really?
Yeah. Imagine that alternate timeline where they starred together back then in that movie. Wild to think about.
That would have been intense. Okay, here's another behind-the-scenes detail that's kind of surprising. Arnold and Carrie-Anne Moss met for the very first time during a dance rehearsal for FUBAR.
A dance rehearsal, that's how they met?
Yep. Apparently that first meeting, learning the tango, kind of set the tone for a playful and collaborative shoot. Arnold even admitted it took a lot of practice to get that scene right.
I bet.
Yeah.
A tango isn't easy. But that kind of fun start probably helped their on-screen chemistry.
Seems like it.
Arnold actually told this funny story about Moss bringing what he called secret oil to set. She later said it was peppermint or essential oil.
Secret oil. Okay.
And she'd put it behind his ears before a scene. He joked it felt like magic power, helping them perform in the most perfect way. Just paints a picture of a really lighthearted set, doesn't it?
It really does. Sounds like they had fun, despite the action. And it also shows Arnold's dedication, He apparently still uses this lesson from his Conan the Barbarian days.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The director, John Milius, told him, "The pain is temporary, but the movie will be permanent." Arnold says he applies that mindset on FUBAR to push through the tough stuff. Reminds himself, no matter how much discomfort there is, it's temporary, but the movie will be permanent.
Wow. That's some serious commitment. You see that dedication reflected in the show's plot, too, which took some pretty surprising turns this season.
Oh, definitely. Big twists.
Speaking of twists, let's talk about maybe the biggest reveal.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Dante Crest mystery. This shadowy terrorist. Turns out it was rogue MI6 agent Chips Guy Burnett's character all along.
Right. That came out of left field.
And the motivation behind it is dark. Really personal. His father died covering up some kind of sex scandal, and Chips had to kill him. Apparently, in self-defense, it twisted him up, made him feel the world needed a hard reset.
So, nuclear war as a reset. Yikes.
Exactly. That whole power grid attack plan,
Right.
It wasn't just about causing chaos. It was this complex scheme to trick the U.S. into launching nukes, thinking a total blackout meant global war had started. Pretty chilling stuff for a show that's also a comedy.
It really mixes those tones, doesn't it? And the ending of Season 2, wow, it sets up so much for a potential Season 3.
Huge setups.
You've got Luke finally retiring from the CIA, or trying to, and proposing to his ex-wife, Tally.
Big step for him.
Then Rue gets promoted to regional director at the CIA. Good for her.
Well-deserved.
But the really shocking part is Greta. She somehow survives that missile crash.
Using a foam grenade, of all things.
Right, and then Luke and Emma actually fake her death to set her free. That's going to have consequences.
Massive implications.
Mhm.
It really makes you question loyalties, the blurred lines in their world. And then there's Barry. He finds out his girlfriend Tina was a Russian mole.
Yeah, but then it gets more complicated.
Right. He learns she was actually feeding bad intel, basically sacrificing herself to protect them. So what does he decide to do?
Break her out of Russia.
Exactly. Setting up a potential huge international incident for Season 3. Just massive stakes.
And maybe a slightly less dramatic, but still rough ending for Emma's ex, Carter, and Tally's ex-fiancé, Donnie. Their lives get ruined, and they end up shipped off to Greenland.
Yeah, on a fishing trawler. So, not everyone gets a happy ending there. Definitely some loose ends and bad feelings left over.
So, behind all this spy comedy mayhem, you've got showrunner Nick Santora. And when you look at the why of the show, the intention behind it,
Yeah, you can trace it back pretty clearly. The whole thing was basically inspired by True Lies, wasn't it?
that seems to be the core DNA.
That blend of high-stakes espionage with just mundane, messy family life. And FUBAR makes this very conscious choice, I think, to just embrace its own absurdity.
Right.
Want to deliver that nostalgic, action-heavy, and just irreverent enough entertainment.
Yeah.
Even if some people call it campy or, intentionally bad. This show kind of owns that.
And maybe even that incessant talking we mentioned earlier, the heavy dialogue, perhaps that's part of it too?
Could be. I mean, yeah, it explains the complex spy plots, but it also shows you the character dynamics, the lies, the deception, just the pure chaos of this family trying to talk while saving the world.
It all feeds into that very specific, very self-aware tone that FUBAR really commits to.
Absolutely. It's a show that, despite the mixed reviews here and there, it knows its audience and it delivers what it promises. Action, fun, heart, and plenty of Arnold.
And that wraps our classified dive into FUBAR Season 2. If you enjoyed this chaotic ride with us, make sure to subscribe and share roll credits with your fellow action comedy fans. We'll be back soon with more trivia, more stories, and hopefully fewer cover identities. Thinking about Luke Brunner's attempt at retirement and Barry's dramatic choice to dive back into danger for Tina, it makes you wonder for all of us how hard it truly is to leave our past behind. When our hearts or the world keep calling, can we ever truly be out of the game? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.